Hello friends, what's up? I am heading home a little early today. I didn't sleep much last night, just wasn't tired. So I ended up staying up really late and or getting up really early, I guess, and just never went back to bed. So my brain might be working a little slower today, but I do have some things to say, and it's nice and light outside so you can see my lovely frizzy hair and no makeup face. But that's not what you're here for. You're here to see what I've been learning about today, and that is budgeting. Wah, wah. I know. People hate budgeting, and for good reason, because it always tells you and reminds you of how little money you have left at the end of what you're spending every month. So, budgeting. What is a budget? How most people budget, and how you could do it differently to make you feel like you have more money. And then how you can do it differently to make you more money. So those are some topics I want to touch on today. Hopefully I remember all of that by the time my brain gets done processing what I just said. What is a budget? A budget is simply a plan that you make for the money that you earn. And you can do a budget many, many different ways, but my favorite way is to do it weekly. Take the amount you actually earn, you bring home weekly, that's your net income, and then subtract every expense that you have, and what is left over is what's left over, and you can choose to do with it what you wish. And I've been budgeting that way for 5 years now, since 2016, and I think it's a great way to budget. I think if you want to know where your money's going and you want to know where you could cut costs, that is a perfect way to do it. But I've been learning about, and this is not the first time I've learned about this, a different way to budget where you pay yourself first. And there's several books written on the topic. You can look them up if you want to. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but some of the best economic advice by some of the leading economists out there say that you should pay yourself first. And there's a good reason for that, because if you pay yourself first, you're always getting paid, right? But how do you know how much to pay yourself is a good question too. Because if you are like us, and for the last 5 years, we've been just clawing our way up the corporate ladder, and we didn't have enough money to pay ourselves first. And what do we do with it once we pay ourselves? Do we spend it on something we want? Do we put it in savings where it's just going to sit there and do nothing for us? So those are just some of the obstacles that I've come up against personally in our own budget. And what's different now is that we're finally getting to a place where we have a little bit of extra monthly cash flow. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I have a lot of debt, and that is something that we have goals to pay off in the future. But right now, what we need is cash flow to live our lives and to get our businesses started, the things that we're talking about doing. We need cash flow for all of it. And pretty sure everybody on this planet could say they could use more cash flow, except for the ultra wealthy. So, how do you budget to pay yourself first? How much do you know to pay yourself, and where do you put it? There are probably a million schools of thought on this, but the one I've been learning about recently, and that makes a lot of sense, is to first, before you do anything else with your budget, before you deduct any expenses from your take-home pay, take 10% of your net income. So what you take home, 10% of that should go toward savings. Now, what are you saving for? Well, I'm glad you asked. You can save for emergencies. Right now we have $1,000, which has been recommended in the past by Dave Ramsey and other financial gurus, but in this day and age may not be enough to cover a big emergency. Just so you're aware of that. So you do need an emergency savings, just in case something was to happen. Your car breaks down, your furnace goes out, something and your home breaks and you need immediate cash. You need a savings account that can cover some of those expenses. So how much? Totally up to you. Beyond that, a fully fledged emergency fund is generally 3 to 6 months of expenses, or 12 or more months of expenses, depending on how much you like risk, basically. So if you already have that, great. I'm not there yet, but good for you. I'm so happy for you. So if we implement this, which we haven't yet since I've just been learning about it, but if we implement this soon, that's what our 10% of savings would go towards. Beyond that, what can you save for? You know, if you're already there and you need something else to save for, you can save for a vacation. You could save for a new home, a bigger home, a better home. You need a down payment for that, so you could save for that. You could save for your kids' college. You could save for, my personal favorite, a rental property, which is what I would like to do in the future. You could save for a million things, but don't start saving for those things unless you have your emergency fund. That's the general advice, and I think that's good advice. Now, let's just be clear about this, that I am not a financial advisor. I have no certifications. I'm not an attorney or real estate agent, and I don't take responsibility for any of this. I just think it's good advice. You're just getting my personal opinions here. Take that for what it's worth. All right, next thing you should do with your money. After you take this 10% out and put it in savings, every time you get paid, you want to take 15% and invest it. Invest in what, you might ask? Well, again, that's totally up to you and depends a lot on how comfortable you are with risk. So if you are not very comfortable with risk, you could invest it in a savings account. Just know that your savings account interest is not going to make you money. And because of the way inflation works and the price of goods keeps going up, I'm sure you've seen that over the past couple of years, you will not have as much spending power in the future as you have in today's dollars. So that's not something I would recommend doing with your investing money. What I would recommend doing is taking that 15% and investing it toward something that is going to earn you money. So if you need to make more income and you have a business idea, invest it in your business idea. You need some startup money, that's it. There you go. 15% of your take-home pay is going to be your startup money. Start saving for it. 15% of your take-home pay could go toward a real estate license if you want to be a real estate agent and earn some extra income. Or, you know, if you need another job certification that you have to pay for up front to get your income higher. Education is a great way to spend that investment income. You're investing it in yourself, but make sure you take the action on that education or it is absolutely worthless and you've just wasted your money. So there is that caveat with it. You could use that investing money and again, save up to buy a rental property. That gives you cash flow and, you know, capital gains when your property appreciates over the housing market. Now, there's risk in that because housing prices, they go up and down, just like the stock market. So there's risk that your property value won't go up, but if you have a rental property, you have somebody paying the rent for you, and that does at least give you cash flow if you've done it right. You can invest in the stock market. There are safer funds out there. I don't know the first thing about the stock market, but I am learning. And again, I'm not a financial advisor, but that is one place you could put money. And I'm sure there are others that I have no clue about, but those are just a few options. So if you're wondering where to put your money, now you have a few places. I actually just started an Acorn account today for my own personal $20 that I pay myself every week as my own personal, you know, fun money. I'm doing the same strategy. I am putting 10% in savings, and I am putting 15%, which turns out to be about $7 or $8, into Acorn to invest it. And it was really easy to sign up. They just asked me a few questions about my financial goals, and there we had it. And it starts tomorrow. So there's one thing you could do. So now you know how much to put in savings and where to save, what to save for, and how much to invest, and some options for investing. Well, what's left? That's 75% of your income is left. And you use that 75% of your income and start subtracting your expenses. This includes anything you pay for monthly. I do mine weekly, but anything you pay for that comes out of your monthly billing statement, anything you get a bill for. So what we have off the top of my head is a mortgage. We have right now a car payment until this refinance goes through. We have a cell phone bill. We have utilities and, oh gosh, I'm blanking. You know, there's pet food, there's groceries, there's anything you pay for on a weekly or monthly basis. That's where you put that. And a lot of times, and the reason we haven't done this before now, is you'll find that you spend more than the 75%. Yeah. Because you want to enjoy life. You want to be comfortable. We bought a house because we wanted to be comfortable, and we wanted to have more kids and not be cramped in a 2-bedroom apartment. And it was pure convenience. And there is something to be said for convenience and quality of life. Do not get me wrong. I'm not saying live in squalor. But there's also something to be said for having patience in and putting aside temporary comfort, temporarily, like I said, in order to have long-term gain. And that's kind of where I am now. Now that we can finagle it so that it's not, we're out of a certain crazy phase of life where we're pregnant and having kids, and into the phase of life where we're raising a family. Now we can kind of focus on a few other things, because let me tell you, there was no mental space for focusing on finance in the past few years, especially with COVID going on. And I know a lot of people have had it a lot harder than us, so I can't judge anybody. I'm just telling you what there is a tool out there that can help you save and help you invest and help you build wealth, rather than looking at your budget at the end of every week and thinking, oh my God, I need more than that. So yeah. And then there was one final thing, and I think that was how the wealthy budget. And eventually you want to get to this place where your investments, that 15% that you're investing, is making you money. So you want to pick something that's going to make money for you. And a lot of times investments are built on the fact that they're going to make you money, like in dividends, for example, in the stock market. So you get paid out an amount quarterly. You get a paycheck from the money that you have put in there. And not only if the company's value goes up, not only does your ownership in the company go up, the value of that ownership that you have, so you've made money that way, but you're getting these quarterly checks, and that's money in your pocket. And you can do with that the same thing that you do with your take-home pay. 10% to savings, 15% of it to investments, and 75% to spend. Or you can take it all and reinvest it, so that your money's making even more money. And it's just this sort of cycle that you have your money making money that you then put into making more money. And that's where I want to get to, is where my money is making so much money that I don't have to work anymore. And it's like this mystical land that everybody wants to get to and nobody knows the way to. So I think I found the way to do it. It's just my desire to do it has to be greater than my desire to live as comfortably as our current take-home pay allows us to live. And we're already doing some of these cutbacks because we want to invest in Chris's business to get our income up even higher. but that's an investment. So we're starting this strategy, and it makes me feel good because it makes me feel like I'm on the right path, and it makes me feel like I'm doing something that is going to make my life better, that is going to keep me from having to struggle all the time. And really what I want to buy back is my time. And I spend so much time at work. I spend so much time cleaning and cooking and laundry and doing the things around the house that have to be done. We spend so much time doing that I feel like we have so little time to spend enjoying our family. And that's what I want to buy back. That's the value that I want back from investing this money. If my money can make me money, and I can, then have $1,000 in my pocket that I physically did not have to go to work to earn, then that is, however many hours it takes me to get $1,000, that's how many hours I get back from my life. And I'm all for that. So, budgets are awesome. I personally am kind of a nerd about it and love doing budgets. But I know people hate them. But I honestly don't see why, because I love them so much. To me, budgets are a great tool to help you understand where your money's going and how you can be better in the future. So, definitely advise you, if you feel like you don't have enough money at the end of the week, talk to somebody in finance. You probably have a 401k with your work. A lot of times they will have free financial coaching services. Check there. Check with your HR department. See if they have any services available to you to talk about something like this. A lot of times they do. Sometimes it partners with your health insurance, that you have like these life services resources available to you. We do, and I think that's kind of surprising to I don't think many people know about it, honestly, but they would help you find a therapist if you needed it. So there's a lot of places you can look for help, and you don't have to do it alone. So if you hate making budgets, find somebody who loves making budgets. Find your friend Suzanne, who is an Excel nerd and loves to make a budget, and have her make a budget for you. But yeah, I feel like I'm on the right path. And I feel like everybody needs to know how to get on the right path. And this is one good option. So if you don't have a plan, maybe take up this plan. And I will see you later. Bye.